This is going to come as a surprise to nobody, but I'm not Andy Rooney. I'm also not Mickey Rooney, nor am I Art Rooney. Though I did once talk to Art Rooney's personal secretary. Those of you who don't get that reference, I can only say that Wikipedia is your friend. There are a lot of ways you can tell that I'm not Andy Rooney. First of all, I'm not 100 years old. I don't think he is either, but if one of us is going to be mistaken for 100, it's not going to be me. Though I think he probably still has a better hairline than I do. I also don't sit behind a desk that I made myself. My desk came from Kmart, and it was a birthday present from my aunt a few years ago. I think I may need a new one soon. This one is starting to lose support in places. Though while I didn't build this desk out of a tree, I did put it together myself, which may be part of why it's coming apart a bit. I imagine that Andy Rooney probably has more money than I do. At the same time, I think I look just as good in a suit that I bought from Value City as he does in the ones he probably paid over $1,000 for. Though I don't know that for sure. For all I know, he buys off the rack at Sears. Somehow that strikes me like the kind of thing that he'd do, and I approve of that. I don't get recognized in public a whole lot, which doesn't bother me. Apparently Andy Rooney is bothered when people greet him in public, and according to what I've heard him say, he spent a long time trying to fight against becoming famous in his earlier years. I don't think I'd like being recognized too much in public, but I do think it might be kind of nice for some random person to pick me out of a crowd once in a while. This has happened to at least one person that I know, and he knows who he is. Andy Rooney was an accomplished writer before he began to appear on 60 Minutes to do what he became famous for. While I have written things, it hasn't accomplished me much, and I cringe at being called an author. I'll take writer, but to me author carries with it a credibility that I just don't believe that I have at this point. Andy Rooney's published numerous books and written many things that have appeared in many publications. I have written several unpublished stories and continue to frustratedly work on a novel with a friend with a short-circuited creative process. And she knows who she is. Andy Rooney was married, I never have been. He was in the military, though I never actually tried to sign up for it. I was once told by a recruiter during a brief conversation that the poor state of my eyes and the fact of childhood hearing loss would probably disqualify me from service. I don't recall seeing Andy Rooney wear a microphone, whereas I'm wearing a headset I got for free with my webcam. Andy Rooney worked on camera, whereas I'm doing this in podcast form because I look like too much of a jackass to broadcast myself visually for more than a few seconds. Perhaps most importantly, Andy Rooney occasionally caused public controversy with what he said. I think somebody may once have vehemently disagreed with my stance on Super Mario Bros. 2 versus the rest of the series. I could go on for hours about the differences between me and Andy Rooney and the ways you can tell us apart, but the fact is that I've made my point. Not that it was a point that had to be made. I'm not Andy Rooney, but I do want his job. And from what I hear, it may be available.
I'm not wearing any pants. Film at 11.